Cool. So it's V Media. You know the vibe. Be outside. So today we got TK from Finesse Foreva.
What's going on?
Come on,
Thank you for having me, man.
I appreciate you, man. And also, before you even carry on, you guys like, comment, subscribe, because I ain't having it, man. You guys be watching this and not subscribing. Like, no, I am not having that.
Make sure you subscribe.
Trust me, man. Trust me, man. But cool. Talk to me about that, your upbringing.
Yeah.
And how it was growing up for you.
Yeah. So for me, probably share a little bit more than what I used to, innit? What I'm used to, anyway. But yeah, like it's kind of different. I weren't born in the UK. Not a lot of people know that, but when they do hear that, they're pretty surprised. But yeah, I was born in Greece, born in Athens. My parents used to live there. Pops studied there, did law, did it in Greek. Do you know what I mean? So he can even speak Greek fluently. Yeah, and whoops. Yeah, so yeah, I came to the UK like just before like I hit two years old. So obviously I don't remember too much of Greece, but I kind of do in a strange way, like when I look at pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, came to the UK with my mum. It's just me and my mum that came. So my dad stayed in Greece, and when we came and we moved to South London. So we were staying in Stockwell for a bit. Didn't have a place, homeless for a while. We moved, stayed with family, and then after a while we had to kind of leave because obviously crashing for too long type thing, innit? So yeah, we were staying in like bread and breakfast, stuff like that. Mum doing different jobs like just plaiting hair and stuff in Brixton Market. I'm with her and that. Do you know what I mean? It's mad thinking about it now. But yeah, like from being in bread and breakfast and stuff like that, like we found a church, so there was like some helpful people there, and they let us stay in their crib, innit? And so they were like from a Jamaican background and that. So yeah, it was kind of like, I think growing up as a young youth, like it was kind of very choppy and changey, always up and down, always around different places and that, different people and that.
And did that continue into like your teenage years? Or?
No, so that was probably like till I was about, I think, maybe like 5 or something, just in between different places, and it was like bed and breakfast and staying at someone from church that let us stay in a small room type thing. And then like after a while, I think my pops came to the UK, maybe like, I can't remember how old I was, but yeah, he came, and then my mum was able to get a flat in it. So then we moved from, so basically we were in Stockwell, was in Brixton, Tulsa area, Stockwell, or just Lambeth areas, innit? And then moved to West Norwood, where we were staying with people, and then eventually moved to Croydon.
Okay, so
you get me? So I've always been South, innit? South London and proud.
Man,
you get me?
Man. I don't fuck with Morley's.
Is it?
Nah, man.
Why not?
I feel
it's
like
better than what do you like have? Sam's.
We do have some Sam's, but Tuesday I don't really go chicken shop. Obviously, there's a couple ones local.
Yeah,
like we got PFCs and FPK in Finsbury Park.
I think I've had PFC before.
Yeah, but I feel like the Morley's I went to, it's never hit, man. It's never hit like that. You might have to show me around.
Right, yeah, if you come to Morley's in Selhurst or even like Fort Heath Morley's, even like South Croydon, like I've got a banging Morley's store. So yeah.
That's another. Croydon's another country, bro.
It's not, bro. It was literally one train to get here. If I drove, it was another country. It was say like an hour and a half.
But cool. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
Though.
So
obviously, that's me, bro. As a Nigerian, I do know like sometimes when you want to pursue certain things, they're not hearing it.
Yeah.
Whether it's sports or whether it's in media, music, sometimes they just don't want to hear it. So how do you kind of overcome that?
How do I overcome that? So like, boy, I've got to kind of get back to the story, innit? So it's like, alright, cool, yeah, move to Croydon and that. Obviously going through the normal stuff, primary school, all of that. And then it's like once you get to secondary school, it's like a whole nother league, innit? It's just like, you might have been a man in primary school, but once you get to secondary school, it's like way more people and stuff, innit? So didn't really know what I wanted to do was getting caught up in dramas and getting in trouble, getting excluded. Like even one time I got excluded for having a knife and that. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy still. But I said I just found it on the playground. But yeah, it's getting excluded and stuff like that. But at the same time, while I was, I guess, trying to find out a bit who I was, and obviously I didn't have no older brothers or family or nothing in it, so it's like I had to make my own name for myself. And then I looked at like everyone around me, like what people are doing, so it was just like, alright, cool, like I gotta kind of be bad in it. So that's what I was kind of doing. But at the same time, it's like I've got two different roles in it, like two different personalities in a way, because it's like, alright, cool, school and outside around friends and that, I'm moving bad and that, but outside I come from a good Christian home, innit? So obviously I'm going to church every Sunday and that, so I kind of just stumbled into music through church. Like that's like my first proper experience and that. So coming up I did little stuff like learning to play keys, but I didn't like really stay with it. But when I was in service, I got told to like kind of help out in a live sound booth, innit? And that was like my first introduction to like music and stuff like that. So first I started running wires and micing stuff up, and then it went into like engineering, innit? Like just EQing and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, cool, since you kind of got an idea in terms of EQing and setting up, like you run a service, do you know what I mean? So I started doing that, and then while I'm doing that, it's not like I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a musical. I was just doing it because I wanted to get out of service, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Do something to pass the time. So I guess the turning point or changing point was when my secondary school, St Andrews, is closed down now. But they got they started building studios, innit? So they built like a whole studio unit. It had like 3-4 different studios. And once they put that in, there's different programs like Cubase and that. So I clocked that raw, like I can basically transfer these EQing skills, because when I'm looking at Cubase, it's similar in it, and obviously I used to rap as well, so I'm rapping and I'm able to record myself. I'm able to record a man them at the time, and then like I mean after school, going to like one of our bedrooms cribs, and like, I'm able to record a man them, record myself, and just making tracks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not like I wanted to be a musician or I wanted to be in music then. It was just something that I could do. Yeah.
So cool. So obviously, let's fast forward to you and SK building Finesse Foreva. And who's the other?
JB.
JB, yeah. So like, firstly, how do you kind of like build your team in Finesse Foreva? How did it all come about?
How did it come about? So I can't lie, bro. Like I gotta give you the full story to actually show you how we actually got, because it's a proper story, innit? But like before that, so after secondary school, didn't get the grades that I wanted. Obviously, periods I was excluded and whatnot, so I couldn't really get the grades that I wanted to, because even when there were certain like little study groups and stuff, I couldn't go in it. So that hindered my grades. So once I left, what happened? Didn't have the grades to do the course I wanted to do at college, right? So I ended up just having to do media. So I didn't have no clue about media, what I wanted to do there. I just did it because my mum was like, you need to go to college, you need to do this. So I did a level 3. You know, from being on the media course, it was kind of like still mucking about, following the same patterns. So,
Go on.
it's a bit raspy, dry in here. But yeah, was following the same patterns and that. And my tutor kind of just spoke to me and was like, right, like, if you don't fix up, you're basically going to be a bum in it, rub out, crash out. So, yeah, so when he said that, I was like, I can't allow a next man to kind of define me and who I can be, kind of thing. And I was like, I remember like all them things that I was hearing in secondary school when people are like, your son's got so much potential, It's like I'm hearing the same thing. So I'm like, like I need to actually make something happen. I need to do something about it. So from there, I was like, let me take this thing seriously. And then what that did, it started opening me to opportunities. Like, so my tutor was a freelance director outside of college, so he started bringing me to stuff. And the first main gig that he brought me to was doing a shoot with River Island, innit? And doing that shoot with River Island, exposed me to just the capabilities of the creative industry, right? And I was getting paid like what £400 to shoot something for like 30 minutes, and I was shooting stuff for their website, where like, you know, you can look at the different looks and that. So now I was like, raw, like, this is cold. And then I started doing store launches. So big artists are coming in from like America, Pussycat Dolls, Agro Santos, Tinchy Strider, stuff like that. So I'm in the store, I'm shooting content, I'm talking to them, and I'm like, raw, like music, fashion, do you know what I mean? Filming, I'm like seeing how it all connects. And I'm like, the people that are working here are wearing whatever they want to wear. Like people, like food's provided for, transport, and I weren't used to that. I thought growing up that it's supposed to be about like getting a job, wearing suit and tie, go to London, that kind of thing. So this was all new. So what did it do? It opened up my capabilities to stuff. So I'm going around to different things. So I picked up a job. I had a job with a magazine company called Disorder, and through doing that, I bumped into Shemai Edwards, and he was working for another company called like Box Fresh Media or something, and we was like at the same shoots. So he's getting content for the magazine company, but then on the same side of that, he's doing his F64 freestyle. So the artists that are coming through afterwards, he's like, right, let me do an F64 freestyle and that. And then I'm like realizing that what he's doing is kind of smart. So we got into talking about like leveraging what you have, do you know what I mean, and what you're around, rather than just doing one thing. Think about what else you could do. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, right, like, that's cool that he's doing that. I don't really want to do another freestyle platform, whatever, but I would love to incorporate what I know, which is music and film and whatnot in it. So after that, I started borrowing the camera. I'm shooting music videos. I'm saving up the dough. Saving up, building up that studio equipment. I'm chatting to JB now, because me and JB are like family. When his mum died, we kind of took him in as like, that's basically my brother. I went to the same church, played drums and that. So I was like to him like, right, like, obviously you can play drums. You started like kind of messing about with beats and that, like, we should just try to build a label or something, innit? So from there, it was kind of like, started saving up money. First studio man got, it was in my bedroom's crib in Streatham. And then after a while, I realised that man can't really run a studio and a business out of man's friend's studio, innit? Don't make sense. I'm sorry, bedroom, innit? Don't make sense, innit? So what did we do? We put in a proposal to my church building, right? And they had a floor which was like, they had like vacant rooms, offices and stuff. And one of them used to be like, someone rented it out for a hair salon or whatever. And obviously, because it used to be a club before that, where that salon was, there was like a booth for recording studio in it. And I was like, right, that would be perfect. So put in a proposal. I was about 17, 18. JB's probably about 15. Didn't think he was going to get it. Ended up getting the studio, and that was about man's first premises at like 18, whatever. Decided to stay in the ends, go uni, graduated in TV and film production. But it's like I stayed in the ends because it's like, right, man's got something to build. Do you get what I'm saying? So from there, man's recording different people in the area. Hardy Capros, Nardi Roses coming through. Loads of people that you see like Vianney. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like one thing led to another. Someone's like, oh yeah, you should manage me or manage the artist. Because I could engineer. I'm engineering the tracks. I'm able to shoot it. Do you know what I mean? JB's making the beats. Like, man's putting it out, and someone's like, right, you should do an event, you should do a launch party. So man started doing like barbecue parties and stuff, started doing house parties, hall parties. Then I started doing showcases, because all the artists that I'm working with, I'm like, right, like, man, I need the platform to have this, you know what I mean? And I had so many different artists that's come through man's platform: Central C, Stormzy, Hardy, Vianney, so many different people, do you know what I'm saying? It's come through Jords. And yeah, from there, it's just kind of really saw stuff. And then I was following people like Wiz Khalifa, Drake. I'm seeing Young Money. I'm seeing that kind of blueprint. We used to sit in the studio all the time and like just watching the videos, and like, wow, that would be so sick if we had that kind of lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Imagine like just doing music with the people that you've come up with, and you're flying around the world. Do you know what I mean? Selling out shows and stuff. You know what I mean? It was far fetched, but do you know what I mean? It was able to happen. Do you get what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah, so from there, like, it is long in it, but from there, it was kind of like, so SK and JB, we all went to the same school, right? And he used to rap. He actually used to be an artist. So he came to the studio a couple of times, and man's recorded him and whatnot. Obviously, he's gone uni, He's come back to the ends, and once he's come back to the ends, someone then reintroduced us in it, or reconnected us, because I was moving studio, because we had to move because it got super busy. Obviously, you got people smoking weed, smelling that weed coming, it's just causing a bit of aggro. Exactly, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to break that down. Like, you can't stop people from smoking outside. The smell's gonna linger in it. Like, boom. So, growing pains, but you know what I mean. Had to learn to kind of operate without the safety net, if that makes sense, or familiarity. But and at the time, because I just graduated, I'm reading books and stuff like that. So I was reading different books, and I read a book called Rework, talking about like, don't be afraid to start again, don't be afraid to rebrand. So from what we made then, it was called KSL Music, rebranded it to 104 Forever, right? So when you email, you see the domain is like 104 Forever, and we called it that because where we started was at 104 White Horse Road. So we like, once we leave here, we know like this is where like we started, and this is where it kind of began. And it was kind of like Party Next Door had something called Something Forever as well, and it's that kind of hard. So yeah, we moved, found the next studio, and that came by chance, by me just going to a show, seeing someone, and she's like, oh, she got some space, basement, boom. Moved into the studio, needed TVs. I always rewired studios and whatnot. I love doing that. Do you know what I mean? That process and that. So once we were doing that, I was like, I'd be sick to get some TVs, and someone's like, right, you know SK in it? I was like, yeah, get me, same school, same year. So reconnected us, shouted him, caught up with him in the caf. It's like, right, what you been on? He was talking about like he's been trying to do something called Finesse Entertainment, music label and whatnot, since he's come back from uni. He lost his pops as well. Do you know what I mean? So he was just trying to do something, innit? So I was like, right, like we should catch up separately and let's go out. So I invited him to hip hop karaoke. Do you know what I mean? Music. And after like hip hop karaoke, chopping it up, and I went back to the studio and just talking about like, right, we should just like kind of come together, work together, like we're all from the same ends. Went to the same school, like we know all the same people, we know what it's like growing up in Croydon and that. Do you know what I mean? We've been managed to like not get caught up in a lot of the dramas or crash out, you know what I mean? So it just made sense, and it was like, right, if we put it together, Finesse Forever, it just sounds hard. 104 Forever, Finesse, do you know what I mean? So yeah, so he ended up like leaving some people that he was working with, put it together. Idea came about in 2016, 2017, got incorporated and that, tried to do it the right way, and he brought in an artist called IQ. And then from there, we had like bare other artists who was managing at the same time. When we first started, we probably had about 10 artists at one go. Do you know what I mean? JB's chopping up beats with him. Then they made a couple good songs that did really well. I wouldn't call them smash hits, but they were in the ends. I'd say they were hits, innit?
Hood classics.
Do you know what I'm saying? Telepagan Try, that was a banger. Do you know what I'm saying? And with IQ, like, just managed to do a lot of different things. Just, do you know what I mean? Packing out, like, performed at Wembley, SSE Arena, that was dope. Do you know what I mean? Going to schools, going shows all over the like map, like with IQ was going around different spots, like got to see a lot of England that way, and actually it exposed me to just the different mindsets of how people take in music and stuff at that stage. And after that, it's like one thing led to another. Then we started managing Skengdo and AM, had an artist from the ends called T-Face, who one of our bros, RIP, that was his younger, so we kind of took him in, looked after him, type of thing. And then yeah, like one time, because I used to work in the children's home, innit, like on a part-time thing, and from working with the youths, they would be always playing music, innit, and they would let me take the young people out to that studio with me, because they would have something to do in it. And I just let them take the aux, and sometimes it's me and SK in the whip, and they're playing tunes, and then one of the youths, he was playing Skengdo and AM in the car, like, and all the man's hearing this and I'm like, bro, what's this? Because this is like some different kind of rap. Remember, like, man's older, like I'm 33, 32, I'm gonna be 33 in a bit, but do you know what I mean? Man's used to like normal like kind of rap, like, do you know what I mean, roadside G's type, PDC, all of that kind of stuff, do you know what I'm saying? Sneak ball and that. So this was all kind of new. So I was like, bro, like, it's not trying to hear that. It's all mad, like, talking about mad, like, stabbing. It's all sounding mad graphic and that, do you know what I'm saying? Then one time, literally, man's on Instagram and like from being on Instagram, I'm seeing like one of our engineers at the time, Tweako. So we used to manage Tweako, developed him and that still. So he was in the studio with Skengdo and AM, and we're hearing that and the ad libs on. I'm like, I swear, what me and SK is like, bro, didn't we hear this the other day? And we checked them out, like, right, kind of big. And then he's like, right at the studio now. So we pulled up at the studio, and when we pulled up to the studio, realized that we had a couple mutuals and stuff like that. And then after a while, they were just like, right, like, you know, can't like, it makes sense for you, man, to manage us. And then once we did that, put out Two Bunny project, do you know what I mean, which is a hood classic. Ended up like being the first. I would say that was the first. I'd say that was the first proper drill project that kind of charted like iTunes. I remember, I think it got to number 2, just behind Jay-Z. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was just mad, bro. Then ended up doing a tour, sending our 2 tours, sold out Coco. Do you know what I mean? And this is all for drill. And I think for us, do you know what I mean, we got a 4-star rating. I think it was 4-star rating, 5-star rating in The Guardian. Do you know what I mean? Man's getting features and loads of different press and that. And then it's like, boom. Once all of that success started happening, all of this like police stuff, drill, all of this stuff just started happening. Like, we're like, bro, like what? Like, bro, we just sold out a tour. Like, how can we just sell out a tour with these type of artists, no drama? We've been going around the whole of the UK doing shows and that, no dramas, not one show to this day where we've had like a madness and something's happened. Do you know what I mean? We've always been very professional from the jump. So we just didn't understand the whole attack on the whole drill thing. So that ended up leading me and SK to do like basically a media run, because different news platforms are emailing us telling us, oh yeah, like, yeah, we want to speak to your artists, but we knew what they were trying to do, because they might not be fully able to articulate themselves, and it's not gonna, do you know what I mean? It's not gonna hit like that. So we said, do you know what? We'll jump on these news platforms and let's do it the right way.
I remember that's when like you're on like ZZ Mills,
all that era.
A bunch of them, and
get me? We said do it the right way. Like we said, let's jump on them with shirts. Put the FF logo on the shirts and that, because what they expect a man to do is pull up in a flipping hoodie, tracksuit and just talk like all road. But it's like, nah, bro, like, man's showing you representation and professionalism. Do you know what I'm saying? So we knew that from super early. We knew the different challenges and how we could be viewed. And I guess I don't blame people, because I guess when in the media certain demographics presented like in a certain way, you might not have an experience with them like that. So that's all you're seeing. So that's your take. So you're going to be moving based off of what you're seeing in the media, innit? It's like maybe some people's never been to China, but they see stuff online and they're like, oh, yeah, this is how they are and that, But then you might meet a Chinese person and it's not that. Do you get what I'm saying? You might be pleasantly surprised. So, yeah, I just kind of realised how, I think from doing all them news platforms, realised how the media is so powerful, it's super controlled, and it's very structured, isn't it? Like what you see is really put together, like it's a whole script and stuff like that. And people that even work in them companies are basically they're basically puppets, bro.
Yeah, because you know what, one thing I've been hearing is that when it comes to media, especially if you're like you're working for like a big media company,
yeah,
you can't cover the stories that you want to cover.
Yeah,
like if you say I want to cover this, they'll be like, nah, cover this instead and go here and do that.
Yeah, there's no real journalism like that. You know what I mean? The real journalism, to be honest with you, is like independent people like yourself, just people that just be jumping on Twitter and that, just be actually on the ground documenting stuff. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, and you just realise how fake people are, and people don't actually care. Imagine like they're calling us to talk about certain things, like when people's dying, or is drill music the reason why people are dying, and we're just like kind of stressing that, bro. Like, does drill music have an influence? 150%. But all that is a reflection of what's going on the streets. Because before you get the track, you have to have the experience. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like if I'm talking to you right now and I've done some mad things, like me talking about it right now, it's not specifically me glorifying it, but I'm just talking about like, this is what's happening, or this is what man does. Do you know what I mean? And then some people do glorify it, of course, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, like I've said before, people ain't spending £1,000 of on money on the music video to glorify something. They invest in themselves to hopefully think that's gonna pop to go somewhere.
And another thing as well, if you talk to a lot of these people that be living that type of lifestyle, that will tell you that, bro, like, I can't lie, the road thing ain't for everyone. Like, I wish I could not be on road type thing, you know what I mean? But it's a trap for a reason, you know what I mean?
It's a trap for a reason, man. Do you know what I mean? But some of the people that's on road are some of the smartest people that man's met. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's just about kind of learning how to transfer those skills that you develop into business. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's one thing that helps, like, especially like me and SK. Do you know what I mean? We've been around drillers, like, growing up. We've been on badness and stuff like that. So being able to see through people's BS, like, it's easy, innit? Like, you can tell. And a lot of people that come into the industry and they start hanging around drillers and stuff like that, and they start acting bad. Like, it's just like, bro, you're not bad. Stop. Because if man was to put it on you, you would not. Yeah,
I feel you.
Would not do nothing.
I feel you. So obviously you've worked with a bunch of different artists.
Yeah.
And actually, even before we even get into all of that, let's touch a little bit on the subject we were talking on before. So drill music.
Yeah.
Do you think that it causes knife crime and that, or do you think it's just like part? I think it's just, or do you think it's just like a reflection of real life?
Yeah, and plus, like, if you think about it, it's always been there, innit? Like, I think what it is because we have social media now and content gets to us like a lot faster. So, do you know what I mean? Of course, if you're seeing a madness happen, someone's going to be filming it and stuff like that. So it's pumped out, and once it's pumped out, it's going to get retweets and all of this reposts, reshares by loads of people. Whereas before, that wasn't there, and because it's not there, you don't know about it. But because it's in your face now and you're seeing it so frequently, because every day someone's uploading it, because the first thing people think is, oh yeah, madness happened, then we start filming, putting it out. You just start thinking that, oh my days, this is literally just so bad. And don't get me wrong, it is bad, but I think sometimes it's not as bad as what it seems. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and the real thing in terms of what causes violence and crime and robbing, all of that, is just poverty and people having lack of opportunity, lack of aspiration, and people not being happy. And if people aren't happy, what they're gonna do? They're frustrated and they want to take out that frustration in any little thing. Do you know what I mean? These days you see little social media things happen, and things happen on social media, and it's like, I don't know, someone's getting on the bus in the morning and someone's flipping stepped on someone's toe or something, and next minute it's all turned into a racist, discriminatory, like, back and forth tennis match and that, like, do you know what I'm saying? When it's just like, bro, it's not that deep. Just keep it moving still.
Because deep, like, I feel like a lot of people these days just be angry, man.
Yeah, they are, and they just want to take it out on people. That's why when you go on Twitter, you're just seeing people just getting at people for no reason, bro.
Making shit out of nothing.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, why are you wasting your life?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, but hold tight a minute.
But cool. So with drill music again, I see a lot of people say that drill music is dying. Do you agree, or do you think like and do you think that Grime's making that resurgence?
To be honest, man, I don't know. It is what it is. But do I think drill music's dying? No, I don't think it's dying. I just think it's just got to its peak, and to get to the next level, someone's got to come in and set a new tone and precedence. Do you know what I mean? Also, you had a lot of the main originators go in jail. Do you know what I mean? And so when the real originators are all going in jail and stuff like that, it's just like got new people coming through. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's not as authentic as it was once, isn't it? And also it got commercialized, isn't it? So when it gets commercialized, it's going to lose.
It's watered down.
It's watered down. It's going to lose this element. There's more rules to it. There's more strategy to it. So yeah, I think it's still going to be there. I think it's just got to a point. It's like Bitcoin, isn't it? Like, no word, like every single thing's like the same. It can be related to, innit, like investment, whatever. Like, but if you look at Bitcoin, for example, like at the beginning, bare run-ups, like big run-ups, but then as it hits peaks, You know what I mean? As it hits its peaks, it gets harder to break that scene. So it's got to go down before it builds back up. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening with Joe. It's hit its peak. Central C's absolutely smashed it. Hit the absolute. He reset the whole.
Would you class him as a Joe artist? I've never looked at him as a
I wouldn't class him as a drill artist, but in terms of for drill, he's jumping on drill beats. So in terms of for that sound, in terms of that drill beats, that sound, like he's taken that sound. Because really and truly, lyrics don't really make the genre, innit? It's the beat. It's like, you know what I mean? You hear an R&B song, you just know it's an R&B song. Do you know what I mean? You can hear a beat, oh, that's R&B. You know what I mean? When you jump in the booth, you're like, oh, this is kind of a jazz feeling. Do you know what I mean? And you add words to it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I think he absolutely set the bar and smashed it. So someone's got to do the most to completely flip it. And I think, again, when something pops, everyone wants to jump on that sound. Whereas, like, before, people kind of shied away from drill, like, oh, like, nah, man, can't do this to the dirt. And once it starts going a bit more
mainstream,
everyone starts jumping on drill beats. Oh, yo, hitting up producers, I need drill beats, I need drill beats, I need drill beats. So, yeah.
And also, with the artists you've worked with a lot of people. A lot of them people are characters, to say the least. The main culprits in my head, S1 and Russ. And especially at the time, I think they were beefing at that point in time.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
how do you manage the conflict? Not conflict, but how do you manage artists who have a lot of character about them and are quite, what's the word? Volatile.
It's a good question, man. I think you got to understand them, innit? And you got to understand why people behave the way that they do. And obviously, when you've come from a similar environments, when you're in them environments, you're around people like that all the time. You know what I mean? When you're in the streets or when you're around people that are just they're just jugging or whatever, you've got different personalities. You've got people that's about like money, you've got people that are violent, you've got people that just are rude, some people are just literally just explosive, like just you don't know what they're gonna do next type of thing. So when you've come up from them kind of environments, you're used to seeing those behaviors, and as you get older and you mature, you realize why people kind of behave the way that they do, and that's based off of the experiences that they've had in it. So if they've had a volatile upbringing, more time, their behavior might be a bit volatile. Do you know what I mean? Their understanding might be a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? And you've got to have patience for that. So it takes a lot of patience, but you can only have patience from understanding. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why when people ask us like, oh, TK, SK, like how do you do this? Or even how do you manage, or how do you work with artists that are beefing at the same time? Like, but that's because of also for us as individuals or as managers, as professionals, we've got to know that certain things that man just don't entertain. Like if you want to start talking about like beef and all of this stuff, we don't care about that. All man cares about is music. And do you want to blow? That's all man cares about. All of that extra stuff, like you don't like this person and this person, man don't care about that. Like, I'm not here to take sides. I'm not cool with this gang. I'm not affiliated with none of that. Man's just trying to do music, make people change their lives, help their families, better the situation, set an example for other people to follow. Like that's it. Do you get what I'm saying? So once you set that rule and that vibe, they just know to respect that, even if you're working with someone that they may not like or whatnot in it. At first, they don't really get it, but in the long run, they realize why a man has to do it, and that allows us to navigate, not picking sides. Yeah, like you got a lot of men in the industry, for example, that would be like, oh, even like people that be trying to do this executive thing, innit? Like on an A&R thing or manager thing, and it's like, oh, like they start like taking sides with, oh, it's like, oh man, can't chat to them because they roll with this person. But it's just like, bro, you're not about that. Do you know what I mean? So,
but obviously, because to counter that, do you feel like, say, has there ever been an artist that you got super tight with, like, and you're kind of like friends in a sense, where you felt like, okay, you know what, maybe I shouldn't like rock with someone who's beefing him type thing, because obviously I don't want to fuck up my friendship with my man type thing.
Nah, bro, this is business. Like, man has a friendship, of course, innit? But it's the same thing as like, I don't live your lifestyle, so I'm not governed by the rules that you live in your lifestyle. Do you know what I'm saying? And do you know what I mean? If you're on the roads, then the roads has a certain ethos and the philosophy of how you should move. Same way as like when you go corporate and you're working in certain offices, there's a certain type of lingo, there's a way to dress, there's a certain type of code. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't speak that language, innit? And so that's not, you can't box me into that.
No, fair.
Yeah.
And again, currently as of right now, who are the main artists we should look out for under Finesse Foreva?
Oh, do you know what, bro? Man's got a few artists that we're working with. Obviously, we kind of like took a break in a sense from like doing full on like putting out records in it for like a whole year. We just said, you know what we're gonna focus on is community, building up like opportunity, values and whatnot, and trying to change the music industry one person at a time. Like that's our model, innit? Like, and obviously we like kind of came up with the idea of something called Music Next Gen and that. So we've been doing like music business courses and stuff to get people into that, because also like we realized from being in the industry that in terms of that entry level, and when you come in, and the reason why people don't trust people in the industry and stuff is because people just ain't got no knowledge on how to do things. It's like someone's bedroom gets a hit, and then now they're man's manager, but man ain't gone through the ropes of actually learning how does this thing work. They just think, oh shoot, my man's getting a 50k, 100 bags, 200 bag deal. I'm there, he wants me to manage, boom, I'm up. They can't tell me nothing. I've got, do you know what I mean? I've got 20%, 10% of 100 bags now. You can't chat to me, start moving all nice, you know what I mean? But that happens and they get it. And then what happens a couple of years later, they fall off. And then they all just fall off, and because they can't maintain that and they didn't know how to actually kind of last. And to last is, what value are you bringing to the industry apart from being someone's bedroom and they made a hit? That's that. But what do you actually understand about the industry? If you have the knowledge, then you can do other stuff and maneuver. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got knowledge and I've engineered, I've filmed, I've done photography, I've done graphics, I've put on events, I've done A&Ring.
You can build that shit from the ground up.
I can use all of those experiences, do you know what I mean? Then I've done deals, so I can give advice and consultancy. I've worked with the hardest of artists that are hard to deal with, that other people can't deal with. So what do? They're like, oh, TK, SK, like, you man know what you're doing because you've been able to do this, maybe we need to get you involved in this. Then it's like we start doing keynote speaking, because people are like, they want to hear about the story, how'd you do it, and all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? So for us, it's about value, and we're trying to change the industry, because if more people have that kind of knowledge and the ropes of how to maneuver, just even the stuff of like understanding royalties, understanding the difference between distribution and publishing. People don't understand that. All people think is, oh yeah, record royalties, but there's a whole avenue of things. They don't even know the breakdown, like what makes up a record. What's the two parts of it? Do you know what I mean? Ask them like, oh, is your artist even registered on PRS? The artist isn't registered on PRS. Do you know what I mean?
There's money to be made in radio.
There's money to be made on radio, but there's money to be made everywhere. But if you don't know, you're never gonna get it. You're never gonna make it, innit? So you need to be thinking, all right, cool, I need to seek knowledge, because that's how I'm gonna be able to better, like myself, how I maneuver, but I'm also gonna be able to benefit the people around. You know what I mean? And so many artists have benefited just because of we did the legwork in terms of getting the knowledge. Do you know what I mean? But as we've been building that community, all of this stuff, we've been taking in interns from the courses that we be doing, and we've also been building up other people to get jobs, roles in the industry, set up their own businesses and stuff like that. Because what happens is everyone realizes that, oh, I don't need to do it this way. There's another way to kind of do it. And that way it's like we're breeding new culture, new understanding, new way of doing things. And now when we do start putting out artists, it's like we've got a bunch of people that we've been working with. Some of them have gone on to get positions in labels and stuff like that. So it's like, right, like, alright, cool. Now if man's got an artist, I can be like, alright, cool, he knows us and that, he knows what we can do, he might be in a position to say, alright, cool, we'll give you a deal for this. Do you know what I mean? And again, the music industry is seasonal. I know it's proper like a long-winded answer in it, but it's deeper than that in it. But the music industry is seasonal as well. So like 1 minute it's hot, like music's thriving, and you get a moment where everyone's like, oh, like music scene's dead in the UK, And again in it, it's like investing again, innit? Like it's like I think it's a Warren Buffett phrase, and it's like when everyone's
And there's
greedy.
blood in the streets. Buy it, innit?
Yeah, or when everyone's greedy, be fearful. When everyone's fearful, be greedy. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like if you look at the drill boom, I mean, everyone saw drill, and then they seen all these artists, and everyone's like, I need to manage a drill artist. Do you know what I mean? And we started doing producer camps and stuff like that. Then everyone's like, oh yeah, maybe we should start managing producers and that. And everyone wants to manage producers, and then what happens is people get these artists and they inflate the market because they get a good song and they think that the song's worth 100 bags, or they get an offer and they're like, no, we want 150 bags. So the labels give them 150 bags, 200 bags or whatever, but they can't fulfill what's needed for like 200 bags. You give a person that was been surviving, grinding, grafting, scraping for crumbs his whole life, and you give a man 100 bags, what's gonna happen? He's gonna fall off because he's like, yeah, I've made it. He's not used to that. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously managers might not be smart enough to understand that. No, you need to actually structure deals in a different type of way. Like us, man, will structure certain artists and producers that we've worked with. Let's say, for example, they've got a deal, and the deal's like, I don't know, let's just say 150 bags. Like, man's not going to allow them to take all that money up in front. Like, man's going to cut it and split it over a portion of. Yeah, so it's like, cool, at least man knows if man runs out of P, man can look forward to more P coming at the next point. Do you know what I mean?
It's easier to manage that.
Exactly. So it's like, cool, if man goes broke off the first batch, he starts learning that, cool, maybe I need to cut down how I'm spending. Do you know what I mean? And some people get it, some people don't. But yeah, there's just a lot of gems to it. But in terms of 2025, going to be putting out, trust me, there's a lot. I don't want to mention names in it, but just watch our profiles. Get me Finesse Foreva, watch my profile, TK the Great, SK's profile, SKMB30, JB's profile, JB made it underscore. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of artists we've been developing in the background. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
I feel you. So now I want to talk about more industry questions, innit?
Yeah.
And this is one I've always asked people.
So I like.
But no one's ever been able to give me a proper answer. So I'm going to ask you this. Is there such thing as an industry plan?
I don't know, man. You see all these little things and that, like, I don't get caught up in it, because at the end of the day, whatever it is, isn't it? Like, what does an industry plan look like? It's got so many different definitions to different people. I don't know. To me, an industry plan is somebody that has grown up, like, I don't know, grown up, or they're connected to the industry already, and because they're connected, it's like they're just basically the seeds that they're holding. So it's like, all right, cool, this person's got potential, this seed's got the potential to be an oak tree, let's plant that. And because we have all the resources, let's water that. There's nothing wrong with being an industry plant. Do you know what I mean? You've just been around the right farmer, innit? Like, literally that. So you've got certain opportunities. But I think it's a way that people look at artists and they want to like kind of envy them, because it's like, oh, they've got all the opportunities and but it's just like, bro, at the end of the day, this is life. Some people get born with a silver spoon, some people don't, innit? But you still got the opportunity to make it. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I feel you. And another one I want to ask is blackballing a real thing?
150%.
Because obviously the reason
200%.
Because I see
1,000%.
Yeah. I see Clues say, like, this was probably a month or so ago. He was saying how that, like, he was saying if you're like from ends and you wanna like rap and shit, and you're from ends and you have any problems with anyone at the Gram Gala, forget about it. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, hundo. Because people be power trip. Like, you gotta remember, this music industry it runs off egos, innit? Like, it's just straight up egos. But you gotta rise above it. You gotta see through it. It's possible to be blackballed, but it's still possible to cut through that. But that's why it's all about relationships. Relationships, positioning, and also just being level-headed and not get too caught up. Do you know what I mean? If someone does do something that slams you out in a weird way, you just got to try not to react to it, innit? Because the moment you react, do you know what I mean, you've lost your position. Do you know what I mean? You've been drawn out of position still. So blackballing is a thing, but obviously everyone's trying to get to the top. People trying to gatekeep. Some people are scared of losing positions. That could be a position in a label. that could be a position of influence, that could be a position in terms of how they're viewed by people. Do you know what I mean? I don't want this person to look like they're bigger than me, or do you know what, like, I don't want this person to, do you know what I mean? So
cool. How can a person overcome being blackballed?
I think you can overcome being blackballed. I think there's different ways of being blackballed, yeah. So the first one that I was talking about just now is like, maybe it's the thing where someone just don't like you, or they don't want to see you win, or they don't want you to see you do better than them. But then there's the other side of blackballing where it's like you've done people dirty, so people ain't gonna let you through the door. Do you get what I'm saying? And some of that is maybe some people saying, alright, cool, don't work with this person, be careful. So there's that type of blackball, but sometimes that type of blackballing is kind of valid. Do you know what I mean? Because if someone is your mate and they're like, raw, should I work with this person? And you're like, raw, like, I can't lie, I booked this person for a show and they smashed up the hotel room and whatnot, and they didn't even like bother to pay, and they were rude. You're gonna warn that person and say, just be careful, like, do whatever you're doing, but just be mindful and make sure you just kind of cover yourself in that way. And some people choose to heed the warning and just not do nothing, or some people still go and they get burnt, and then when they get burnt, then they're like, oh, shouldn't this person, yeah, and they start telling everyone. And you've got some people that get burnt and they'll go on social media, start saying, oh, this person, da-da-da. So me seeing that, or someone else seeing that from a label, they're like, I don't want to work with this person because they look crazy. They're always on Shade Barrel, or they're always on Twitter going viral for something bad. We don't want to be associated with that. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's all these different type of blackballing. So I wouldn't just place it as one thing. It's just, yeah.
So obviously we see like recently YJ going viral.
Yeah.
And obviously that, and I'll have a reason why I brought this up, but obviously he's getting his fame, he's doing mad shows and shit, he's running about all over England, and obviously like he's doing well. And obviously I think he's in good hands, because I know some of the people who are around him.
Well, Unexpected.
Yeah.
Man's bros, yeah.
From your side, isn't it?
Yeah. Croydon, man, best place in the world.
Drag. but obviously, what's your thoughts on his whole fame and whatnot, and what he's been doing?
Bro, he's been putting out music. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been putting out music, and yeah, he wants it, innit? I think to the world, people just be looking at it like, like, he's this kid, like, he's got like whatever problems, like, he's being taken out. Like, I see some of the discourse and I'm like, bro, shut up. Because you don't know man's life story. Do you know what I mean? True. That's why, like, I was happy when he did the Semtex interview. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and like, yeah, he just explained his story, and he's very smart. Do you know what I mean? Like, man's been around him. Like, he's smart. Like, do you know what I mean? He's smart. He knows what he's doing, and that. It's just because he's got a whatever it is, condition, whatever it is, like, but everyone's got issues, innit? Everyone's got like little problems that they have to deal with. Like, do you know what I mean? Like myself, like, I've got tinnitus. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like everyone's got some people's it's more visible, some people it's not. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are also jealous, because like, how can he be popping and I've been doing music for 10 years and I never had a moment? But at the end of the day, music's about authenticity, and what everyone can say is that he's authentic, and the bars that he was saying was real rap.
No, man, so he put his heart in this, bro.
I put my heart in this, bro. Like, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a hustler, you know that you put your heart in this, bro. Late nights, early mornings. Do you know what I mean? Continuous work, no results, but you're still going. Like, I put my heart in this. Man resonates with it.
Why does everyone think they're the hardest, bro?
Why does everyone think they're the hardest? Just bare ego. That's what we're talking about. Why are they speaking for the sake of speaking? Like, on Twitter, to see bare dumb thoughts. Do you know what I mean? So everything he said in that first 8 bars or whatever, like, bro, it's all real rap. So, and people relate with it, people resonate with it. And I think he did it on a great beat, which was easy to take, and it related to, the beat was like a nursery rhyme-ish type of beat. And it allowed like young people to kind of, do you know what I mean? It's fun, it's happy, and it's like, raw. Like, do you know what I mean? So,
no, definitely. And I feel like, I look at, because I see it as a level of inspiration, because if he's been able to get to where he's at, with his difficulties and the way
no excuses.
Yeah, you know what I mean? If he can do it, why can't you do it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It should be motivation, man. If anyone sees someone doing well and they hate, it's just a reflection of themselves, man. Do you know what I mean? That should just motivate you and be inspired to like do something. Do you know what I mean? Rather than sitting on your flipping couch or lying in your bed, just commentating, man. Speaking for the sake of speaking.
Real shit, man. Real shit, man. But obviously, now I want to talk about this because a few weeks ago, Skengdo was going off, I can't lie. And he was saying that, word for word, bar for bar, the UK scene is sad, the smallest and most segregated label-run, crabs in a bucket scene of all scenes. Shake my head. And I've tried to collab with everyone, whether they're up and coming or not, but everybody just wants to get signed, you know what I mean? And I think he's insinuating that there's some people he's tried to like cook up with, but obviously because of labels and woody woo, it's just a headache to maneuver through all of that.
Yeah. So what are you telling me? What are you asking me? What do I think about it?
Yeah.
And
do you agree with him?
Yeah, man. I think, yeah, I agree with it. But at the end of the day, like, people are gonna see what they see and they're gonna do what they see, innit? Like, monkey see, monkey do. Like, if they're seeing everyone that's winning moving in a certain way, then everyone's gonna want to move like that, innit? So everyone get a hit record, one hit record, everyone wants to move bougie. Like, someone get 100k followers, they start unfollowing all the people that they were following that got them help, got them there, and then like, oh, I'm only gonna follow one person. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, bro, does it even matter? Do you know what I mean? It's just flipping accounts. Do you get what I'm saying? And people just want to look cool and that, like, or people feel like, oh, do you know what? Like, man's on this level, I can't be associated with this person no more. Like, and I think, like, how people move is a reflection of who they are, innit? Like, so like, yeah, man. See people like maybe elevating, like, oh, I can't chat to this person, but if you see people doing great stuff, making great music, just do it for the art. Do you know what I mean? Don't do it because of, oh, I feel like if I do this, it's gonna lower my brand, my value, my aesthetic. That's the new one, my aesthetic, and like my page. Like, bro, it don't matter. Like, bro, like even I had a little conversation with someone and something about like a photo being posted, and it's just like, like, man can't do it because like man can't post pictures like this because A&R like said like, no, man shouldn't do this, I should do it like this way. Like, bro, it's just a picture. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what? I'm trying to like
but
make
do you think that all that like aesthetic thing can actually be part of a strategy type of thing?
Yeah.
To like maintain, like, for example, say if I'm like, oh,
the aesthetic should be character. The aesthetic should be your character, like how you move, how you represent yourself. Like, not, oh yeah, like man's in sick places and that. Obviously, it's nice to be in nice places, but I think the real motion and the real aesthetics is like, alright, cool. Like, how are you moving? Like, what do you do? Like, what's your action saying? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's the motion that you're saying? Like, right, like, what have you been able to do for people? Or like, are you just showing you're just a person, innit? Because at the end of the day, you get dropped in the middle of Singapore, like, someone might not know who you are. So it's just like, all of that stuff, it's just wet to me still. It's just wet. Like,
no, definitely.
if I was not in music, I probably would not be on social media. I would not be on social, because my life is lit without social media. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, yeah, and yeah, I could say some more stuff, but do you know what I mean? I could say some more stuff. I could say some more stuff, but I think a lot of people are just wet, bro. I swear down, like, a lot of people just wet, like, and like, bro, because like you've been like, I can't explain it, man. It's just so wet, but it's the game, innit? Like,
because, you know, I feel like there's some people just like like they're just over eager to like get to where they need to get to, and obviously there's nothing bad with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Some man are just like forget themselves, you know what I mean?
But don't do it at the expense of your character. Do you get what I'm saying?
Like, this music shit comes to an end one day.
It comes to an end, bro. Don't last forever, and I think people think it does. And it's funny because when people start falling off, they start going back to the people that had time for them when they were coming up type thing, innit? When it's just like, bro, if you just stayed down, those people don't realize the people that helped you get where you are, supported you along the way, like those are the people that hold you up. Do you get what I'm saying? And even with that, that's what even helped Central C a lot, because like people don't know Central C's journey, but he's gone through so many different people and how he's carried himself, how he carries himself. Like, bro, like, do you know what I mean? We had a studio session with him, and do you know what I mean? Comes on time, doesn't come with 5 man in the studio or whatever. Like, comes by himself, does what he needs to do. Like, you hear from other people, oh yeah, he comes to meetings on time. Do you know what I mean? He's proper, he's cool, he's not like raggo and, do you know what I mean? Loud and, do you know what I mean? Understandable. It's just easy to work with, innit? Like, and I think people like to do business and work with people more, and they'll hail up people more that work well. Like, do you know what I mean? And if you don't work well, then people ain't gonna hail you up. So,
what's your thoughts on the state of the current UK music scene right now?
I think it's in a good place, man.
You
I think it's in a very good place, yeah. Because if you're tapped in, like us man be on the ground, innit? So like I be at events, I be at open mics, I be at every type of show, I be at open mic. I don't care, like, because at the end of the day, man knows where success stories are built, and success stories are built on the ground. Do you know what I mean? In the places that ain't the shiny places and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Another term, investment, if you want to call it that, is buying a dip, buying a top. Do you know what I mean? Like, the real stories are bought in the dip, like when it was just screaming, but then literally market, the labels and everyone else that's up there, they buy the top. Do you know what I mean? And that's why the game looks stagnant, because everyone at the higher levels of the industry, the A&Rs and stuff, like, they're like, to be honest with you, bro, A&Rs mostly in like these labels and that, they don't have no power anyway. So they be sitting in a job and that, but they don't have the power to sign stuff, like, or they'll be bringing stuff to meetings and that, and it'll be good music, but they don't be getting heard out. Do you know what I mean? Because what do they want to buy? Or what do they want to invest in? Music that's already popping or streaming, it's going viral. They want to buy the top. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of great music on the ground, been growing on the ground. There's artists like Dealer, like I started working with like alternate artists like last year or end of 2022, 2023 and that. Like, and I was just like going to the alternate events, rap events, do you know what I mean? Where it's like kind of like Playboy car-ish type beats. Different people like are just wearing different type of fashion style. They've got communities, they're doing shows and they're packing it out. True. Artists like Len, do you know what I mean? There's other like types of sounds like Names Bliss, who, do you know what I mean? He's making waves with like The Original and Samson and that, and they're doing these like street freestyles and making content and that. Those are man's guys, and that, like, man's seen them been building, and what they're building is authentic because they're building around communities. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas at the top there is no real communities like that. It's cliques, whereas on the ground it's communities.
You know, one thing, even with like the smaller underground artists, I've clocked, even if they don't get super mad views, they still have like a lot of people tapped in. They still have a heavy engagement that a lot of like more established artists would wish for. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and then that's why you're starting to see more established artists trying to work with some of them. Do you get what I'm saying? Because slowly, like, you can't be doing the same thing. It's madness. So they're trying to tap into that, but it's also fear as well, innit? Like, if you're scared, then you're not really going to do it. If you think, again, it's going to ruin that aesthetic, or it's not going to get you the numbers, or more time, like, the people above you that are working with you are probably telling you, like, nah, don't do that, because they're just looking at how the other people will be moving and stuff, innit? So, but this is why we do what we do at FF, innit? And we're showing people, like, this is what you can do. Because we can make it like America. Like, when man goes to New York, we were just talking about this earlier, like, when man goes to New York, like, everyone just be everyone just be working together. It's like, oh, you got this artist, or this person's got their distro, let's get our artist to do something. Like, how can man help your thing, Whereas here, it's none of that. And because there's none of that, communities or fostering working relationships and stuff like that, it's not gonna grow because you probably find the same artists just be doing multiple features with each other. It's just like, I won't mention names because people might feel like I'm taking ticks in it, but like you might see the same artist, he's just done a tune with this person, and it's like it's like man expected to hear that because man's been hearing that. Whereas like in the States, you will have an artist like, let's just say Young Thug, and then he's just brought through Gunna, and it's like, feels like Gunna just come out of nowhere. It's a brand new artist, and that's what keeps it fresh. Do you know what I mean? So until we have more people, and that's why we help other people, like trying to help them build like their management companies and their labels. We've helped so many people build their things up. Do you know what I mean? Obviously some people give us credit, some people might not. Do you know what I mean? But the more we do that, or the more we have that, the more like people have a culture of like, yeah, working together. Do you know what I mean? Then you get more random features and stuff that's interesting, not the same old stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Definitely. So obviously,
Stuffy in here, innit? Like, yeah.
I can't let the weather changing too, bro.
Yeah.
But cool. Obviously, before we done this interview, I asked some of my supporters to just give me some questions for you, and obviously I got.
I swear, on you ask people, yeah.
Yeah, I put my story in.
Is it? I ain't
Sometimes
even seen
people
it.
be tapping in and shit.
Seen.
No cap. But cool. So one of the questions they did ask was, what? So first, one of the questions they asked is, what advice would you give an artist who's been offered a deal?
Artist that has been offered a deal. Why am I taking this deal? That's the first question I'll be asking. Like, why? Okay, cool. How much? Like, how does this? What are the pros and then what are the cons? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no such thing as a bad deal. Like, we showed this on our course.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a bad deal, because at the end of the day, it's a deal, innit? And if you do a deal, know what you're getting. Like, if you go to Apple store and you're buying an iPhone, you're basically getting a deal, innit? There's terms and conditions when you buy that. There's a warranty or whatever. Like, you're giving money, you're getting a deal. It's 900 quid. You know what you're getting, innit? You're getting an iPhone. You know why you're going to use the iPhone? Because you can shoot maybe your content on it for TikTok. You can call your friends. A lot of people take deals, but they don't know why they're taking them, except for the fact that it's Sony, it's Universal, and I'm getting a check, I'm getting a bag, but they don't have no angle on like, alright, cool, if I take this, alright, on the business side, I might be 30 grand down. What does this mean if I'm 30 grand down? Shoot, that means if I don't recoup on this project or this single and that, then I'm not ever going to see money for this for a very long time. Or maybe if I do take the deal and I get 30 grand, depending on who I've done the deal with, like all these little things, like, like what's the license on it? Like, is the license 15 years? Is it 25 years? Is it a lifetime license? Like, what does that look like? Alright, cool. Like, if I'm doing it with a major, I have to recoup like 5 times over. Like, it's just all these different little things that you need to be thinking about. And it's like, alright, cool. Maybe it's like, I need the money. Cool, but what am I gonna do with this money? Like, what's my survival number? Like, what are the main things that I need to cover that's gonna allow me to do music and possibly leverage and scale up what I'm doing? What can I invest in? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, am I homeless? It's all about your circumstance as well. Like, we had an artist, if you're homeless and that, what do I need to do? Damn, I need to get a crib. I need to find something to rent out. Like, do you know what I mean? Or maybe it's like, I like to perform a lot. Maybe I need to buy a car. Do you know what I mean? So it all depends on your circumstances. It all depends on like, what does your roadmap look like? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the main thing, and also education. But there's no such thing as a bad deal. You only realise if something's a bad deal or good deal if it goes bad or if it goes really well. Do you know what I mean?
How about this? What should the artist look for in a manager?
Say it, bro.
What should the artist look for in a manager?
I think what artists should look for in a manager is things that they see in themselves in a way. What I mean by that is, like, if you're working hard, like if you know that you're a hard working artist, then you want a manager that's gonna work hard in it. But if you look at more the surface based levels, obviously you want a manager that is knowledgeable. Not knowledgeable and not just because he's around certain people, because you have managers that they don't have a clue about the music business like that. You ask them like what's the difference again between, I don't know, publishing and distribution, like how, like what's, like, do you know what I mean, when does PRS pay out like every year, like how many times a year, like what's neighbouring rights, and they won't even know what neighbouring rights is. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how knowledgeable is my manager? Because if my manager's knowledgeable, it means he knows all the little dark grey areas, and I'm going to be safe on that. But they don't even be, but the artists don't even be known for themselves. Like, what's the stuff that do they need to know? Like, what stuff do they need to know? They don't even know what that stuff is. But they're just thinking, my man's lit. He's around lit artists. He's at events. He's taking the sit pictures. He's got a chain on. He's in a Ferrari. He's in Dubai on the weekend. So they're like, yeah, I'm good. And then they get into it, and it's just like, some man don't even care like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So you need to be thinking, like, is my manager knowledgeable? Is my manager trying to be an artist? You know what I mean? Because you got managers as well. Like, you got different types of managers, innit? You got managers that want to be lit. They want to be in front of the camera and that. Nothing wrong with that. It's got different vibes and that. But, like, are they about the business? Like, one thing me and SK don't do, like, and bare artists will tell you, like, we might fly out, we might be going for a show, we might be, like, doing a music video, while everyone's all getting lit, we'll just go back to the hotel room. Like that. Yeah, like, it's just like, bro, man, don't need to be partying with the artists. Like, we're not the same. Yeah, we're not in the same level, innit? Like, you're the artist, you do that stuff, but man needs to be professional. Do you know what I'm saying? Or you got managers, like, again, like jumping up on stage with the artists, and again, you got managers do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think, yeah, man, you need to move different to, like, kind of establish that you're the manager, innit?
So another question is, music, do you think music nowadays is based on talent or based off views?
I think it's based off both, man. I think it's based off both, but I think at the end of the day, it's based off talent, innit? It just depends on the talent that it is, innit? And sometimes that talent isn't based on the actual capabilities of singing or rapping capabilities. Sometimes that talent is just knowing how to market and knowing how to resonate with people, innit?
Because I feel like recently, I've always said this, that I feel like music isn't about how good you can sing or rap. It's about how good you can market yourself.
Yep. And marketing yourself is expressing yourself, innit? And I think, yeah, when you know how to express yourself and communicate, like, you're easily able to be understood, innit? Or felt. So, yeah.
On top of that, is that, can you give me 3 cons and 3 pros of becoming part of a label?
3 cons, or what, major label?
Generic, anyone.
3 cons. So 3 cons, I think, if you join a label, is, I think sometimes you might not have like the final say. Do you know what I mean? You might not get the final say because it's not your thing. That's one. I think another con can be sometimes you might not, your ideas might not be taken in. Do you know what I mean? Might not be taken in, might not be understood. So there's that too. And also, when you join a label, you might put something out and it's not going to pop, or it don't pop. Do you know what I mean? So it's not every record's going to do well. So how do you combat that? How do you how do you deal with that? Because for some people, and especially people that maybe come in and it's a fast pace, they get a quick win and then they can't follow up with another hit, and it's just like, do you know what I mean? They lose it, like, 'cause it's that they're trying to chase that high, that win again, and they can't do it. And do you know what I mean? So I think that can be a con, but it's not really a con, innit? I think it's just got to learn and that still. So yeah.
And 3 pros.
3 pros. You get to be behind some great moments. Do you know what I mean? You get to say that, like, raw, like, man was actually part of that, like, do you know what I mean? Or you get to say that I found this artist and developed them. It's that. And also you get opportunity to, like, just experience the world, innit? Do you know what I mean? If you do it right, if you do it to a certain degree and you get to meet different people and just like get to travel for music, do you know what I mean? That's like, I remember the first time that we ever went on a plane. Like we went to where did we go? Went to I think it was LA.
Yeah.
We went to Portugal. No, I mean SK went with an artist called Teo GG to do like an Afrobeats video in Portugal. And it was just like, raw, like man's on the plane, bro. Do you know what I mean? And then I think when we went to LA to shoot the music video of Chief Keef, like it's just like, raw, like man's in LA, bro. Do you know what I mean? And obviously I'm a big Nipsey Hussle fan, so it's like man's in LA, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? All because of music. Like all them times when I was sitting in the studio watching them Wiz Khalifa videos, like it's just like now man's actually doing what he was doing. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
No, definitely. And also, like, looking back, what's one of your greatest moments?
Greatest moments, man. Had a lot. I think they keep getting greater and greater, innit? But
what's a standout one?
I think, bro, like probably like I don't know, man. Like I guess, like, do you know what? Proud of Croydon Awards, because I think like being honoured from where you're from. Like a lot of men go to the top, but then some people ain't respected where they're from. Do you get what I'm saying? Or they're not acknowledged like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Or they can't because they're not. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I think that was just a big moment. Just being like celebrated in the borough that man come up in. I think that for me is like one of the most important things, because at the end of the day, when you win, like you're putting that place on the map and you're showing other people that's come up in that area, like other young youths, that raw, like this is what men from Croydon are doing. Man can do this as well. Do you get what I'm saying? And then after that, then there's all the other stuff in it. Like, alright, cool. Got number one with a client, 2 clients, producer and artist. Do you know what I mean? Or being able to sell out Coco, that was a mad achievement. But it's like I never get caught up on that one moment, because I always know what our end goal is, and the goal is bigger than music. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about music. Like music's just a vehicle to fulfill like our purpose and what we're trying to do. So all the music achievements are just a plus, but there's way bigger achievements. Do you know what I mean? There's people out here that don't even have a house. Do you know what I mean? There's youths that don't even have parents and they're orphans. Do you know what I mean? There's people that are coming out of jail with nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, man did a music project and I was working in ISIS on a contract for like 4 months. Do you know what I mean? And just being in the jail, I mean, and like man's trying to build this studio in the prison, and like just even when I'm going onto the wings and I'm like, raw, like these men are banged up for like 23, 22 hours and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they don't get to go nowhere and that, bro. Like, this is real. Do you know what I mean? So when you see different stuff like that, or when man's been in LA, the man's gone Skid Row, and it's literally imagine a whole town and everyone's living out on the streets in tents, bro. Like, when you see stuff like that, what do you think man cares about? Like, achievements and stuff, man. That's great. That's just byproducts of hard work. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's real life situations going on that need to be solved, innit? And that's what man cares about.
Because you know what, one thing I've taken from you, obviously this is the first time of me meeting you, but one thing I've kind of taken from you is that, like, you like to give back type thing. Because obviously I've been deep in that your courses are free, innit?
Yeah.
They're free, and obviously, like, and I feel like there's a lot of people who, once they maybe get up to a certain level, they're like, fuck the ends, fuck everyone type shit. I'm just gonna be straight on my shit, my pesos and my ones and twos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how come? What's kind of stopped you from being like that?
Because what's the point of being lit and stunting on man's people? That's wet. Do you know what I mean? That's just so wet, bro. Like, man's been able to do this. Man need to show other people, like, yeah, this is possible, because that's why it's flipping survival out here, bro. And people are robbing each other and that, because people want what other people have, and people ain't getting help on how to do it, innit? And it's even toxic, because you might help some people and they still take it the wrong way because they're not used to getting help or love like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's like backdoor.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then they end up getting backdoored by the people that actually be doing the backdooring. But for us, at the end of the day, someone gave man an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? That tutor that man had at college opened the door for man to be able to even experience something different. And I know how powerful even that was. When you actually acknowledge something, you're like, raw, like, imagine if man could do this. Like a candle's lit, innit? And my candle's lit. And it's funny, I'm a Sagittarius as well, like, so I'm a fire sign. But it's like, man can light other people's candles. Do you know what I'm saying? I make the place shine brighter, kind of thing. So it's like, why wouldn't I give back? Someone could do it for me and they didn't have to, and it didn't really cost them nothing. It don't really, obviously it costs us a little bit, but it don't really cost too much to give an opportunity. And at the end of the day, if that person becomes something big, man was part of that story, and I want to be part of bare people's success stories. You know what I mean? Not to be like but just to know that, yeah, like, man, do you know what I mean, added some fuel to their fire, or like, do you know what I mean, man opened the door because man could. It's lit because I'm in a position. It's like being able to help your family and say like you become successful and you're able to give your mum money or something. Like, you feel good because that's what it should be about. Do you know what I mean? If you look at Jesus in the Bible, innit? Like, it's just like, it's greater to give than receive. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what man's about. Like, and every time man gives, man always gets back tenfold, not straight away, but in some other way. And that's why man's blessed still. Yeah,
definitely. TK, we're out of time.
It's been a pleasure.
But I appreciate you for coming down, man.
Yeah.
One of these days we might have to, what's it called, run it back, man.
Yeah, man. Need to get JB and SK on it as well. That would be good still.
Man's there for it, man. Man's there for it.
Yeah.
Therefore. But
Say that, my boy.